I have to say it. Batman Arkham Knight is one of the best games out there. But with the recent release of the Suicide Squad game, you do think, how did a game that looks like what you're seeing right now, with super cool graphics, like amazing gameplay, a great story, how did we go from this to the far less appreciated and honestly very graphically underwhelming Suicide Squad game? And, that's what I'm here to talk about in this video. I'm here to talk about the descent of Batman games. Alright, it's time to give you a bit more of an understanding of just how the Arkham Knight is just so much better than the other more recent games. Because the two other most recent games that came out are Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. So, Gotham Knights is not canon to the Arkhamverse, unlike Suicide Squad to much people's disappointment. Gotham Knights is not canon, but it did use the story structure of a canceled Arkham game that was going to be made. But just for context for you, everybody. So, IMDb gave Arkham Knight a 9 out of 10, right? Which is amazing. A 9 out of 10. And mind you, this is community rated, right? Community rating, I could rate myself. A 9 out of 10 is given to Arkham Knight. That's amazing. Gotham Knights got a 6.4 out of 10. Much, much lower than Arkham Knight's 9 out of 10. And by that, you would think that the game studios would think, oh, okay, so that previous game didn't do good. Let's not do anything like it. Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League currently sits at 4.5 out of 10. And you may just be like, oh, well, that's just the community, right? It's not professionals. And although people don't like IGN, let's use them for reference too. IGN gave Arkham Knight a 9.2 out of 10. This is a near perfect game according to IGN. Gotham Knights got a 5 out of 10. A 5 in comparison to a 9.2. And mind you, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in the same universe by the same developers as Arkham Knight has the same score by IGN as Gotham Knights. That is absurd. Alright, and although I don't own Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, there's tons of stuff online that I'll use. So, what you're watching right now, this is gameplay from Arkham Knight. This is Arkham Knight gameplay. This is not cutscene material or anything. This is me flying around the city going to a quest marker for a Riddler mission. You can just do this. You can just decide, you know what, not random procedurally generated dude on the street? Okay, no, you're just gonna get the crap beaten out of you. You can just decide that. You can just beat up random people doing bad stuff in Gotham. Because, yeah, that's what they're doing. Right? And then you just beat the crap out of them. And this is the entirety of Arkham looking like this, right? Where it looks like a real, what you imagine Gotham looks like. Like dark, it's like all rainy, nighttime. And Batman just shows up, beats up random people for no reason. And you notice this fluid combat, right? I'm using tons of different button prompts. Like the combat looks really interesting. Alright, now let's go to Gotham Knights. Essentially, this right here is a boss fight, and I'm playing on max graphics for context, right? So this is probably the most intense moment. And you're gonna notice I'm playing as Red Hood because he's the coolest character by far. But there's one thing, is that when it comes to playing Gotham Knights, I'm only doing two things. I'm punching was 3. I'm punching, heavy punching, and then shooting my guns. Like, because the super abilities, like, you can use them every now and again, but, like, it feels like an RPG how they've laid out the layout. You know what I mean? which is why this game is not very well received. Because mind you, this is max graphics. Just because my PC's good is how I can run this. And the way I'm taking down these enemies is essentially just hit, 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 hit. Okay, time to pull out the guns. Shoot, 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 shoot. It's not terribly in-depth, right? And although you might be thinking, oh, well, surely it can't get much worse, right? Because at least you're using like a bunch of different things here. Yeah, now let's head into Suicide Squad. Alright, and now for this last one of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I don't know what this guy's graphics he's playing on, but I mean, this feels like a high graphics, right? He's a YouTuber. He is, let me check, 13.5 million subscribers, right? You assume he probably has a pretty good PC that he is running a pretty high graphics on. This is what probably high graphics then looks like, or at least max graphics, or somewhere near there. This is what it looks like. This is the gameplay of Suicide Squad Kills Justice League. I'm sorry to say it, but it feels, mind you, this is the same game that was made by the Arkhamverse, as we saw in the first one, with Arkham Batman, with the city that looks amazing. This game just came out this year. Arkham Knight came out in 2015. This is 2024 graphics, everybody. Yikes. And as I was talking about combat, here's this. I'm just going to cut forward a bit. Rather than the Gotham Knights, where it's punch and shoot, it somehow just turned into shoot with some of the extra buttons. And although Arkham Knight does seem just like punch, there's like a bunch of stuff to it. Like, you can dodge, you can like use batarangs. You have like a whole gear menu. Like it's like, I want to say like 8 different gears. You have like a bat claw. You have batarangs, remote controlled batarangs. You can shoot out electricity. Like, it's a ton of different things. And meanwhile, these games have a couple extra abilities and guns, and that's about max. Like, it's honestly kind of disappointing, and I think you gotta see where I'm coming from now. But just gameplay wise, just how much superior Arkham Knight is compared to both of these, even though they are newer games. The next big thing I want to talk about is income, right? How much money did these companies make off of games? And as you can see right here, you want to focus on the quick stats section. Arkham Knight, this is just on Steam, by the way, not any other platform. This is just Steam, PC gamers. Arkham Knight currently has around 4,000 players at this time getting this information. It has made $16 million and has sold almost 3 million units. That is crazy high. Gotham Knights currently only sits at 500 active players. It has only made $22 million, which is still a lot, and it's only sold around 500,000 units. And Suicide Squad, although yes, maybe it could be partly due to just time in general, Suicide Squad currently has 3,000 active players, has made around $8 million if we round up, and is near 200,000 units. But also, if you looked at the price during those, you'll notice another trend. It's going up. Arkham Knight costs you only $20. Gotham Knight costs you $60. And Suicide Squad costs you $70. All of these games are AAA games made by AAA studios. And the superior game, which I think should be pretty obvious at this point, the superior game of Arkham Knight, with the most units sold and the most money made, and probably the most amount of time played on it, costs $20 in comparison to the rest of them. This is something the games industry should learn from. If you make a good game, people will buy it more than if you make a really expensive bad game. Because even though the bad game costs more money, it doesn't immediately make it better. Arkham Knight is older, and cost less, but they still made more money than the other games that are newer and cost more. That should say something. That should scream out something to the games industry. So, with all this said, I think it's pretty obvious what I'm trying to get across here. That Arkham Knight is a better game, even though it is older and probably more forgot, right? Because it's a lot older game. It was released in 2015. Let that sink in. There's more players playing a game made in 2015 and more profit made on a game in 2015 than there is on more modern games. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. But I think it should also let you sink in that just because the game is newer doesn't mean that's necessarily you should buy it. Let that sink in, because the games industry right now is just pumping games down the line, right? We've had a ton of new games come out, and I think it's probably off the top of your head, if you're an avid gamer, you could probably name a couple that you bought and then immediately said, why? Because they're not good games. Even though they could have cost a lot of money. As a Game Pass player, yeah, I know this a lot. Luckily, I'm not spending money, right? It's just Game Pass, which does cost money per month, but I'm not buying a full game. As a Game Pass player, I learned this a lot by looking at games like Starfield, for example. And after you play it for just a little bit, it sinks in. I feel sorry for people who bought it. Because, like, it's very, like, genre specific, or just not good in general, normally. That's just how games work nowadays. Like, some of these older games, like, think of Minecraft, Roblox, for example. I don't think they're ever going to die. Like, Roblox is, like, transforming and trying to be, like, metaverse or whatever, which, hey, you can have different opinions on that. But Minecraft is stayed relatively the same, just with updates that are a little lackluster nowadays. But it's still running. It's still Minecraft. It's still a good game. That's something that should sink in. So, with all this taken into account, if you like this video, right? First off, please save me from the algorithm. I need likes and subscribes so that I am noticed. But also, maybe next time you want to buy a AAA game, like next Call of Duties, for example, either look on YouTube first or look for an older game first to take a peek at. And with all that taken into account, play Infinite Warfare, guys. It's made a year after Arkham Knight. You won't regret it. It's severely overhated. I made a video on this. It's severely overhated, besides multiplayer. It's made a year after. It has better graphics than most of the games industry. It's a good Call of Duty game. Please, I beg you. It's a great campaign. Please, I beg you, play the game. Please. Okay. I'm just gonna end it here. I've been Galaxy Nova. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.